How's that look? Colors are right. Here, we can take off the hat so you can see who I am. Season 3, Episode 1. Aspiring this or aspiring that. We'll go now and then we'll go backwards. So, I'm on a farm right now. Did I ever think I'd work on a farm? Zero chance. My mom happens to be a fourth generation farmer. And never once did she ever make it something I could aspire to be. Growing up, I had written down that I wanted to be a Target employee. And the reason why Target was, and I was just there the other day, is they sold ices and Pizza Hut and popcorn. It's so funny now to think about it. Actually, funny story. I was at Target once and I was so into just like roaming around Target. My mom happened to go to the front of the store. Jacob, to the front, please. Over the PA. Jacob, to the front. Where were you? And so that was 10 years ago. And I'm about to turn 25 this year. Today is May. What day is it today? It's some day in May, like the middle of May. Maybe the 15th or the 16th or something. It's a Thursday. 2025, just so that people can look this up. And I grew up thinking that going to a farm was something that farmers would do. And I heard a guy say on a podcast that we're gardeners and we live on a garden planet. And it really clicked for me. I couldn't tell you what state of mind I was in. I was definitely curious. And this guy, he has such a Greek way of saying things. He just says it. And in America, we kind of beat around the bush. And the guy was really adamant about how, you plant seeds, very much true, and they grow, and to some capacity, the content of the soil can influence the crop, per se. And so again, I had no idea that was something I could aspire to be, a gardener, a farmer. And as some background, I grew up playing sports, so in a honest way, it could be said the only reason I ever played sports was to live vicariously and it wasn't me who ever wanted to play sports. Someone wanted to live that dream out through me. Because they really had no other way of parenting me. And that's okay. My life up until now has been secure. I've had all my needs met. And I've taken time to explore the world the last 6 years of my life. I didn't go abroad. I traveled to San Francisco, and as I made my way back, I realized there's a version of freedom that I truly desire, and did I ever think I'd find it on a farm? I mentioned in the intro that for the past 2 weeks, this is like the happiest that I've ever been in my life. I get to experience what it's like being on a farm, doing farm things, witnessing what it's like having a farm, being able to grow crops. That's freedom. That Between that and being able to produce your own power, that's freedom. And then what's in the middle of that is being able to build for yourself. And where I'm at in my life right now is this door to this freedom. I walked through it. And it's been quite the journey. I've always aspired to have a certain version of security in my life. For example, being able to pay for things and not really have to think twice about it. Being able to know that the things I'm buying, I don't have to think twice about. Know that the quality of the things that I'm choosing to buy, I don't have to think twice about. This other thing I've also kind of ventured to aspire is, how can I get my thoughts in an order where I don't have to be insecure about them, or
Honey, you just sitting out here all by your lonesome?
I'm making a podcast.
What?
I'm making a podcast.
Oh, nice.
How are you today?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Love it.
Can I interest you in some strawberries?
Ooh, one or two after you get running.
Here.
Love it. Thanks, love.
How's your day today?
Good. How's yours?
Oh, I love it out here.
It's nice.
I was just telling the podcast that I grew up in like a city,
Uh-huh.
and this is freedom to me.
I like being out in, like, farmland or up, like, in the hills and stuff. Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
I get ya. Well, I grew up in Irvine. It used to be nothing but fields, and now it's not, you know?
I live in Walnut, Culver.
Culver 5. I'm in the colony.
What a small world.
2942 Hemingway.
Take care of yourself. It's remarkable. The life it's almost as if you had a plant in front of you, and then when you water it, you just see it go whoosh. Half of the reason why I make these podcasts, or why it's such a creative outlet, just in the same way that being on a farm is a creative outlet. Because I've always aspired to be creative. It's just I got to a point where I was sitting there in school being like, I know that they're going to use what they're teaching me as a mode of prediction so that they know who I'm friends with, the money I make, things I do, what I find interesting. Because all those different things are being taught to me with the respect that they know what I know. They also know what I don't know by definition. And what I've come to really care about and aspire to be is to be this. This was that at some point. And the mental liberation that I have to go about my day and freely create and not get in my own way. Like, what does it produce? I'm not even interested in knowing what it's going to produce. I'm just interested in knowing that it produces something that I get to experience. That is what I aspire to be at this point. Is someone who consciously creates and is able to receive whatever it is that is on the train for me. Because this whole podcast thing, half of it, as I was mentioning, is my children get to see this and know what I'm saying, when I'm saying it, and if at some point they get to be my age and they're like, oh, I don't care, that's fine. Because I'm accepting that I'm making it, and that's all I care about. Because the idea that someone can use it to their advantage, this sonic period, it's out of my control. Just the same way that I take a photo and I post it on Instagram, and it could be a selfie. People find that interesting. Great. It could be a photo of a strawberry. People find that interesting. Great. To me, it's the fact that I was able to share something that I found interesting. That's where my focus is. My appreciation for love and my appreciation for life is something I've only recently aspired to understand. Where I sit now is really the only place I aspire to be. It'd be a farm. I imagine this farm having a river flowing with water, spring water, and I imagine another farm that's on the ocean where I could hear the waves and my feet in the sand. And I also imagine another farm tucked away in a forest, surrounded by trees and shade, and that too also has some sort of fresh flowing water on it. Those are the things I aspire now to have. Before, it used to be a version of this brand and this clothing and having that name car, and gave it all up. Of course, I still design my own things and have the intuition to create clothes and make plates and communal spaces for people to enjoy. It's still very much a thing. It's just that, again, the reason has changed, the people have changed. And so when I sit back and think about how people younger than me, when they listen to something like this, how could any of this help? Why would any of it matter? The biggest turning point for me in my 24 years of living has been to learn who I am and what I'm doing here. I've grown around different kinds of people, and really the people that I find myself constantly meeting up with is the people that ask, what's the point of me being here? How did I get here? And why are there people that choose not to be happy? Another big thing I've learned is that what you see in the world around you is really what you see in yourself. My sister just this past weekend, she's going to the other side of the world, And she kept having second thought after second thought, and she kept doubting herself. And I pretended like I had a watch on. I was like, "You still doubting yourself? Still judging yourself?" And I know what that feels like because I did it for 6 years of my life. I never once did it before. Actually, I did it since when I was like, I've done it for like 10 years of my life. And then having to unwind that is no different than a flower blooming. That was something I aspired for, was mental freedom. At the age of 18, I was strong, I was fit, athletic, but I had no idea what I wanted in life. Zero clue. I went to college out of the idea that it was a completely new environment away from family. It's really what it was. A place where I could go do things that I previously had never done before. And the reality is, it's not that college isn't worth it. It's that you can learn the life lessons that college offers voluntarily on your own without having to ever experience college. And when I learned that, I also learned that I don't have to be in a relationship ever in my life to know what a loving, caring, nurturing, listening human being I can be for somebody else and what someone else can be for me. Not once, because in the same, I'll explain this. You could very easily just go talk to plenty of people who have been in relationships, and there is a consistent theme, in my eyes at least, that if you're looking to date somebody, you should only aspire to be yourself. And everything else is going to figure itself out on its own without you ever trying. Just in my own personal experience, I've only ever asked a girl out one time in my life. One time. And other than that, me worrying about myself and focusing on this was how everything else lined up. It's so fascinating it works out that way. For example, in college I took photos of people, and it got to a point where one of my friends that I was taking photos of, they said, look, like, I go on photo shoots with plenty of other people, but when I go on a photo shoot with you and post your photos, something different happens. And so I've also been figuring out, what does that mean and how does that work? Because I didn't know that I could aspire to do that. No idea. I had zero clue that that was something that I could have in this life. Just in the same way that if I'm the cashier to some business, the difference in amount of people and the kind of people that show up, completely different world. Point blank, simple as that. Just in the same way that when I tell you, as simple as worrying about yourself, discovering yourself, being on your own path to be, whether that be aspiring to be a father, whether that's aspiring to be, who knows what it is at this point. Because don't let me tell you how to live your life. It's knowing yourself in this world. They want you to know about everything and everyone but yourself. Being able to know that you're in control of your thoughts, being able to know that you're in control of what you put effort into, being able to be in control of what you tell yourself as your personal story, being able to be in control of what is something you enjoy doing. These are the 4 things that have changed my life forever. And this, what I just spoke, used to be that. What I aspired that person to be like is now who this person is today. So the version of freedom that exists on a field like this, food security, the effortless flow of what is the sun going down, the moon going up, germination of plants, things like that, completely effortless. Is a very similar and a very necessary thing to understand. So if I had to tell you, oh well, this is where we get into the Taoist side of the world. I could do my absolute best to portray the feeling to you, but I'm not going to explain it to you. Just in the same way that describe the color blue that's behind me. You're going to say, oh, well, it's relaxing. No, I told you to describe blue. I didn't tell you to tell me what feeling you get by looking at the color. So I'll wrap up by saying this. Plenty of people have said that they're knowledgeable of the truth of this world. What I've come to learn about that statement is that speaking your truth is a totally different thing than saying that they know the truth about how things work. So if I had to give any advice to people at any age, it's to learn about your truth. What is it that you know and why do you know it? We don't have to believe in the same thing. But you should know certain things and how they work. Otherwise, those thoughts aren't yours and you're not living your own life. So take care. All the best.